It's Friday. TTTT. Good evening and welcome to the show. My name is Amina Abdurrahman. Let's take a look at what trend this week. Mr. Jailer decides to convict himself outside City Hall. What really happened? Do you have trees you can cut for charcoal? Are you pre-qualified? Then State House is looking for you. Stick around. Okay, so now for the first time, something I am Koroga Festival took a trend. Which side should we take? I don't know. Let's hear what the panel has to say. Now, Mamata decided to take KOT head on when they questioned her scorecard. Her response, Mama, you. All right, and Mr. Jailer decides to convict himself outside City Hall. What really happened? All right, so my director made me take one, two, you know what, it's fine, whatever, it's fine. Jackso was good. At, of course, the trend level, let's move to you have to say who is it. Cindy, the one to blame. Cindy, good to
Throw
have you
the
on
shade
show.
away from. Good to have you as well, Amina.
Handsome boy.
Cute boy.
Cute boy.
Oh, whatever.
The chairman,
Cute Boy Association.
It's 'cause
Association. Kenya.
it's still a lie, so whatever it is. Like,
The party is growing stronger.
Sashienze.
Key design.
oh, oh.
No, no, no.
Okay.
It is hashtag TTTT, is it not?
Sawa.
I might
You're right.
Gospel Sunday and I don't know.
You're right, it is. It is. It is. Hey. Okay, so let's talk about, listen, so you know there are people who have weeks on social media. You like, I know Anita, you have been
I'm a-
through
I'm
this.
a familiar
Unataka
candidate.
kutoa testimony. Alafu, who else have you?
No, not
Okay,
yet. Not
so
yet.
2 months, I think it's been like 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
And our women rep, Esther Passaris, I think
Right.
has been receiving a lot of backlash for one or two things. But I think her post, you know the way you really want to tear someone. I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
have ever been in that position.
Yeah.
Like in kuna
You want to
video.
look at the bright side.
You know what I mean?
But there's none.
There's none, Anita. So here is the. So someone asked, right? I mean, what have you been doing, to try and, hold you accountable as a leader, right? The things that you promised us or rather your job entails. We're hoping you've done some of these things. And then she just slaps you in the face with this tweet. So let's put up the tweet. And then you guys read that tweet for yourself. And, all right, so the tweet is not up, but the tweet just, there it is on air. So Cindy, where were you when you were reading this tweet?
Where? You guy. You know, there's some tweets you read. I'm trying to go quickly through my gallery. Because, this is one of those tweets where 600 people send it to you because you're like in 600 WhatsApp groups. Does that happen to you as well? You're in so many WhatsApp
today
groups
of
that
all
you get the
days,
same
yeah.
tweet
Depende groups gani pia.
over and over again.
Yeah. Anyway, think twice.
I'm seeing tweets for coconuts. I'm sorry.
Think issues.
In the meantime, this was where my problem came in. And now I'm going to quote her tweet where she hashtagged terrible twos and hashtagged temper
That's
tantrum.
true.
Right.
She was literally doing exactly those two things. And for a leader to say, how can you expect me in a span of 2 years to have done anything? What would I expect from a 2-year-old? Beauty pageant queens have done more in 1 year than she has done in 2 years. Did she think she was running for Miss Kenya or was she running for Women Rep? She
Ooh,
needs to
okay,
be
guys.
clear about what she was running for. Because no, you cannot possibly be a leader. I mean, surely you after 2 years, even when you get a job, you have 6 months to prove that you can do the job. Are you not on probation for 6 months?
Yes, you
After
are.
which, if you don't prove that you can work, they tell you, thank you so much for eating our salary for 6 months. Goodbye. The door is to that side. In case you don't know how to use the elevator, the guard will help you.
Right.
So there's no institution in Nairobi that's going to hire you. And after 2 years, you tell them, what do you expect from me after 2 years? So when I saw that, I was like, please remember in 2022 the kind of people that you vote for. If in 2 years you've done nothing, you can show nothing, then please.
No, Anita, my thing is, okay, even if someone asks you, I mean, what do you mean? Respond to me. You know,
Yes,
because
but
it's a valid question.
But you're being defensive because you have nothing to show for it.
that's true.
And that's what people who are in the terrible twos do. When you ask a child something and they know they're in the wrong, the first thing they do is start to lie and get defensive.
Right.
You have to behave like an adult, behave like a leader. Say, enyewe sijafanya kitu yoyote, but I have 3 more years to go. Give me time.
Butita.
Mi hata nashindwa like leaders sisi ndio kwa bosses wao. Juu inakwanga ni kama
yes,
we
and I had
can't
one more
question anything when it comes to leadership and responsibilities. Because the way she tweeted was like, hey, we ni nani? Unauliza nini?
Unauliza ka nani? Aje.
Unataka
right do
aje?
you
Unaona?
have, right?
So I think watu wanafaa kujua tuko na hiyo power ya kuuliza, because even the constitution says that we can recall back a leader, si ndio? So we have the power, we should question. Tujibiwe.
No, lakini
Tujibiwe.
pia, you know,
Eh?
kuna kitu alisema ili ni slap. Alisema next time. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like talking about like next time when you're voting,
Next time.
think
Think twice.
issues. Think twice. And I mean, if we also talk about us as voters,
Right.
Yeah.
you know, there's some of us that look away and take a lot of money.
Yeah.
Whether it's you as a journalist and you write that story,
Right.
you as an artist endorsing that politician, knowing full well that that person does not have the interest of the people.
Teacher. So
You
let me.
know,
That's what I wanted to tell you. So the other tweet she said was the reason why they deserve a salary pay rise is because a lot of citizens ask for money to pay rent, healthcare, food, and I was like, but my friend, if you give these voters money when you're campaigning, are you surprised that they're
What
asking you for
precedent have
money?
you set?
You've already shown them
That's
I'm
true.
going to give you fish. I won't
Since
teach you how to
clearly,
fish.
job
So once you're in
hatutafanya,
power,
hatutupane
it's up
pesa.
to you to
In
know
fact-
how
in
you're
fact-
going to sustain the money that you
I
are
like
dishing
what
out.
Anita is saying. It's very hypocritical for you to use money to campaign, and there have been videos
Yes,
of you
you're
know
just dishing out
Esther
cash.
Passaris dishing cash to a
Oh,
crowd.
there was?
Yes,
Oh,
there
wow.
are
Okay, I
videos
haven't seen
when
that.
but then she was vying for, is it MP or Embakasi, when she was trying to do something in Embakasi, and she reached into her pocket and she scattered cash and guys was scampering for money. So there is evidence that, you know, when she's campaigning, money is a tool for favor.
Akona mfuko.
But now that you're in power, you're saying, hey, you know, the tweet wasn't pulled earlier on. I got it here. It says, we represent citizens who look to leaders for their personal expenses, from rent, medical, funeral, school fees, food, etc. Leaders in other countries are not expected to settle constituents' personal bills. When we move from dependency to independency, we can reduce our wage bill.
And who is
Now,
supposed to do that?
exactly, as a leader, you're the one who sets the precedence. For example, when Boniface Mwangi was vying to be MP, he categorically said, I am not going to pay you for your votes.
No, but you know, he also said something. He said that you have to fundraise because
Yeah.
it's expensive.
It is
to campaign.
expensive.
And
Yes,
all these people are just funding
To
themselves.
give out cash.
Yes, but to give out
that's
handouts.
a totally different story.
No, I think that they're
Because
both the
leaders
same.
overseas
Because
don't
where
do
did you get
that.
that money? To campaign for yourself.
You fundraise
You know
among
what?
your
Yeah.
friends. You do
Some people
donamapping. You
don't.
tell your friends, yeah, I want to vie for this seat. They come, but you do not go ahead
And give
take
money.
a loan and then later on dish it to people for votes. It
And
doesn't
then get angry
equate
when
to
they ask you
anything.
for money later.
But I think
You already taught them a bad habit.
if you do what you're supposed to do correctly, sidhani kama kuna mtu atakuja kusumbua na story ya pesa.
Because if
That's true.
healthcare is
Like,
there, why should I come and ask you for money for my
It's a
healthcare?
precedent that has been set. I'm sure there are leaders out here who, if you go to the office, they sit down and tell you, okay, what's the problem? How can we give you the net to fish as opposed to giving you the fish? If that is how you got into power, you have no right to
And
complain.
if you show them it's money that you can give, that's
Yeah.
what they'll be asking for.
But me, my question is, you know, I think, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. But if I was an
Where
MCA
would you-
or if I was a chief, a councillor, I would have someone else before I tweet. I'm like, boss, waona hiki tu ni ya ufala.
yeah.
You understand? Like before I go and speak
When
and
I
say,
saw it, I really-
tutawapiga, tutawa.
I even checked the time the
I
tweet
asked
was put
someone,
up just
do
to
you think-
confirm that maybe it was just one of those, Trump hours of tweeting.
Do you not seek any
It was
advice?
not.
Is it just me?
It's nonsense to say because you ask me for money, I'm going to make you poorer.
Yeah.
By taxing you double so that I can have more money to
To
make
give you.
people more poor, because we all know begging is the vicious cycle of poverty where you live from hand to mouth. In order to break that vicious cycle, there has to be some form of development.
And
So
empowerment.
bring in the development and empowerment, but don't go say, yo, people beg, I need money to give beggars. It
But
will
you
not
know,
help.
Cindy, that will mean that you have to build schools. People will have to go to school,
Oh,
get
that
an
means they have to
education,
work.
so that they vote for leaders who can actually make a difference in their lives.
Also, the
What do
onus
you
is on
think?
us because technically we're the ones who voted for her, right?
Yeah.
So the onus
Yeah.
is on us.
No, I'm saying
3
that
more
they
years.
like us staying poor
Yeah.
and they like us staying uneducated and
Yeah.
unempowered because you don't know.
Yeah.
And as long as you don't know, you're going to vote anybody in.
Yeah, right.
What do you think, though? The hashtag is TTTT at the trend live. want to know what you think. We have a lot more coming up right after the break. So let's start things off with Kuruga. Now, Kuruga Festival had been trending for the better part of this week, and it was about ethic and about the scuffle that took place. So the video came out, and did you watch the full video where it showed they're the ones who came back on stage? They had finished their performance, and they're the ones who seemed to have not started really, because they came to their first line was knew you. So I knew they came to settle the beef streetwise. Wasiwangu Islando tunajua. Take a look.
Yeah.
All right, so first of all, can you imagine that bouncer? His face has been in every single WhatsApp group.
I know, right? Hey, bouncers wana siku refu. Wow.
Mimi
From
nilikuwa
drunk
hapo tu
chicks now to unruly
nikachapwa.
guys. I really don't get what the problem was. I don't know why they came back on stage. The video doesn't really showcase. So they came, they did the set, they disappeared, the DJ was having a good time, and they came back on stage, and then you hear, knew you. And then they get on the bouncers. I don't know.
Yeah, inaitwa kuvaa mtu. Sasa walimvaa.
Walimvaa kabisa.
Yeah, but me ethic wako na talent, wako na fans wengi sana.
And they're so big right now.
I don't know who is the team that's managing them. Wanafaa kuwasaidia vitu zingine.
Hype.
Unaona?
Well,
Especially
but
PR.
sioni ni kama, okay, first of all, guys, excuse me. Do you think that they looked like they had consulted someone before running on that stage? You
No,
think
no,
that
no.
feelings, amount
that
of
they
energy?
got. They
No.
went and caught feelings like picking
What?
feelings from a tree.
Of course, that looks like you just got mad and then you went to do something and then you called the guy and you were like, the manager, and you were like, so...
We did this.
Unajua Amina.
Because I saw their tweets, and sorry, Eddie. So I saw their tweets, and and they were disgruntled about saying how they were not treated similar to how international artists are treated. So to give them the benefit of a doubt, this is what I want to know. Did they have a rider that they sent to the organizers of Kuruga and said, we specifically want ABCD, and then something in that rider was not met, hence the need to be disgruntled? In which case, because now they're being managed, where were their managers and their agents or whoever is in charge of them to be the one to go and address the issue with the organizers of Kuruga and say, ABCD has not been met, so my artists are disgruntled? Because it should never be up to the artist to be the ones to go themselves and attack a bouncer, go on stage. But they apologized to, you could see them apologizing to the bouncer after, but then it was all too unnecessary, and you see there's such a big deal in the country right now. I don't see, this is not the time to be having their image as those guys who will perform after kuperform wanakuja kupigana na mabouncer. You know,
mi kama
but I love your
Islando,
music,
mi
guys.
najua inafikanga 2 point, una jam.
Ile kaende.
Unaona tu red, unasema
Boondocks.
manze tutatoa hii.
Like
Lakini
Boondocks says,
unacheki
you have an end moment.
Si hata si tumetoka huko Islando, Amina, lakini saa ingine ifika mahali unajua kama kuna issue unafaa kuhandle, kuna vile inafaa
But you see,
handle.
you guys are not understanding. They've just started their careers. It's just
But
that
they're
it's
now
taken
being
them-
managed.
I'm not
It
making
just
excuses
ended.
for them.
And then
I don't think it
that
has. I think
It
they're
has
very
not
talented.
ended,
They will
but
still
their management
get
needs
a-
to be, they need to know who they're handling, and they need to be very, like the way.
But I refuse that because Kanye also has a manager, and they find out on Twitter just like you when he does all the. Sometimes you can, because
But
I've
they're
seen
not Kanye
talents
West. That's
messing
the
up.
truth.
You
But-
can't.
When you're
you see the
starting
challenge.
off, you know the way Kendrick said, sit down and be humble. I think artists sometimes we get in our own way because we're just so in touch with our feelings. It has to be about how I feel and how I'm addressed. You forget that it's a career, and a career starts step by step. If I'm a promoter and I see this video and I had you lined up, I'll say, hell no, these guys cause trouble. So you need to think, you need to see beyond your nose.
That's very true. All right, now it's one of those things that you, because I know Kuruga meet all the demands, right? But then I've also seen bouncers rough up someone for nothing.
Mabouncer naye wanaweza.
You know.
Let me tell you, the respect I have for bouncers, I can't even try. They can ruin your evening instantly. Like you've just gone to
Right.
ask Choiko
Hawa
Pandegani.
tu hata
First of
uko
all, the way
na
they
ndevu
Avisha
unaitishwa
you.
ID.
You go over there, wapi tag, madam, toka, you're not supposed to be here. You're like,
Mbona
no,
unaniangalia
I'll give you my
hivyo?
sleeve so I can show you the tag. By the time you're doing that, you're already halfway out the door, near the parking, almost already in your Uber on your way back home, and you had the tag on your hand. I don't know.
It's them, even security guards.
Lakini unajua naelewa, umetoka home, unajua leo nataka kudeal na mtu atasumbua kwa entrance.
Ah, okay.
Hakuna mtu amekusumbua, alafu saa 10 ya usiku saa ile gigi kukaribu kuisha. Umeangukia mtu mmoja tu. Ati akwambia ati wewe unaona umeunga sana.
Have you seen the way they ferry guys off like a briefcase?
Eh?
As in your beboard like this.
You know, if a bouncer bebas you outside, even though it doesn't matter. What did Nganga say? It doesn't matter who you are or what you are.
Oh, yeah, whatever. What did you
Whatever you are.
Naona kuangana mavita weird weird. Mtu
You'll
hata
be
anaweza kusugua
arrogant. You'll
masikio.
be lavish.
Ushaisuguliwa masikio na bouncer?
No.
Kusuguliwa masikio? Kwa
What,
nini?
what does that mean?
Ai, unashikwa hivyo?
Why?
Yeah.
Ndi.
Boy
Really?
child. That's what you guys go through.
Nairobi imenionyesha maneno.
Hapana, bouncer mimi
Wanaume
ananikishanga namba. What do you mean
mnasuguliwa
anakushika
masikio na
masikio na
bouncer?
kufanya
I mean,
hivyo?
that's the
Kuja
story of
hapa.
my life.
Anita and I,
Unaambiwa kuja hapa,
bouncers, those are our
unaona hapa?
guys. What? Anakufanya hivyo? Kwani
Unakuachilia unasikia.
Okay.
Can I try after the
We,
show?
hii Nairobi tumeonyeshwa maneno na mabouncer.
Hey, boy
Wewe
children.
hujaipigishwa magoti nje ya club.
Ah,
Mahelifio.
Piga
Serious?
magoti na usijaribu
ni
kutoka
kama shule.
hapo.
Ka shule.
Serious.
Sasa uko nje ya club watu wana we. hii
Ndio
Nairobi,
mkono.
ama uchapwe.
All for the sake
What?
of tundying.
Wewe.
Imagine I will listen, I'll
Mabouncer.
watch YouTube
By the way,
in the
kiukweli,
house
kuna mabouncer
with my glass
wafuatagi.
of wine. Si lazima
Kuna mabouncer
tudunde.
wasikiangi. Kuna mabouncer wanakuanga wameamua ni vita.
Si lazima
Eh?
to do by the
Okay.
way.
Mimi nitakupiga wewe.
Wines and spirits pia
Na kushikanisha
inaweza.
kwa
Si
hiyo
lazima to
ukuta.
do.
Eh,
Alafu
hapana.
explanation
the
yao ya
lights, weka
kukupiga.
YouTube.
The explanation.
YouTube.
Explanation pekee unasikia uchungu.
Download mix.
Nitakupiga kama golf uende uanguke huko.
Let me over there,
Alafu
you come with your
unaogopa.
gang of friends, you're
I
feeling
know.
like, this is the place where you normally go, you're like, yo, this is my home pub, man.
These
This is
are
where
my
I come
people.
all the time.
Wananijua,
Ukifika there,
unabebwa
unauliza, who are
juju.
you? What are you? Who the hell do you think you are?
Oh gosh,
Hey.
the hashtag is TTTT. Listen, kuna tenda ya State House. Mmetuma eh?
Wonderful.
Biashara ne? Biashara. We're going to talk about it. Tunawapatia tips they tenda manzi. Za makaa. We're going to be back in a bit. And welcome back. All right, so now this story, I think, especially for me, I was so shocked when I saw this story. And I really prayed that it was false because very many people are affected by cancer. So it's very personal to so many people. So to see someone deceive others to try and get help and funding, and other people really do need that fund. I really was I was so shocked, and we hosted her on the show, and I felt like we also deceived. It was just too much. All right, so now fashion designer Shienze Kasoha, for the better part of the week, also was trending. Her story, however, was one that has still shocked very many. She's on the spot after her caregivers accused her of faking ovarian cancer. Take a look. You're only gonna beat cancer. Shienza, can you hear me?
Hi.
And I wanted to tell you that on behalf of the trend, we're going to contribute 50,000 shillings to your kitty as you seek treatment. We want to say pole sana. So what do you want to say to your friends? Peeps, so that was the interview that we did, and it was beautiful, and all her friends came to, some of her friends came to surprise her. They all pledged 100K, and, of course, we had our viewers who also contributed. And Cindy, you work a lot with patients and
With cancer patients
survivors.
at Raja Cancer Support Trust. And I can tell you, I know Shienze. I knew her before her cancer diagnosis. She was meant to be part of our young cancer survivor support group next month, just because she's 25 years old and she got a recurrence, and our hearts were all moved. And when this whole thing came out, I'll be honest, I personally reached out to her and I told her, listen, cancer is the easiest thing to prove. There are so many diseases that you're not really sure, you're a bit, but cancer is the easiest thing. There are tumor markers, there are biopsies, there are MRIs. There is a histology report that can declare you, that you do have cancer. Post it. Show your passport that you actually went to a hospital in India. But they silence, and that silence, I think, is what is hurting people, because the more silent she is about the situation, the more guys are like, oh, wow, we have been duped. I want to talk about Munchausen syndrome, which is a mental disorder in which patients fake illness to gain attention and sympathy. Munchausen is real. There's so many things that people do just so they can feel loved, they can feel accepted. And I think it stems back to your childhood and how you were raised. I honestly think she suffers from a very severe case of Munchausen. situation where she decided to come up with this sickness just so that she can get sympathy, and sadly, she can also get financial gain.
I'm still shocked. Like, I'm not even going to lie.
It's shocking. I mean, I work in
That's
the
the
cancer
same thing
scene.
I thought, because when I saw the
Exactly.
story, I was like, it's cancer. It's the easiest illness to prove. Just put up the because she put out a press release. It's very easy to say, here's the press release, here are my documents. But then in the video, she said the video was edited to make her look bad. But then
They're
in
not
the
cuts. It's
but
not-
you're asked, did you go to India? No. Did you do this? No. Did you ever see this doctor? No. And then you apologize and you say, I'm so sorry that I put you guys through this, and that my story is affecting you like this. If you really had cancer, I mean, it's so.
The
No.
easiest disease to prove, because you can't lie when you have it. And why I was very sad is
did she
because
just
I
cut
come
her
from a
hair?
background where I see people who have it and wish they didn't. So when you come from a place where you do not have it, but you use it for emotional gain, sympathy, or financial gain, it breaks my heart. It
Yeah.
really, really honestly does.
It does. Now, as we move on, this man, you know that statement for "I'm dying to see you." I think he was
He took
very
it too
literal with that
seriously.
statement. Akachukua nyororo, akaenda hapo City Hall akasema, "By the way, mimi kama sitakutana na Uhuru." Uliona hiyo story Butita?
Alijifunga hapo nje ya City Hall.
Yeah.
Atakuona Uhuru nje ya City Hall.
No, si anataka kupata attention ya Sonko na wase wengine ndo waambie, "Oh, ni aje sasa since umekam." I don't know why people think it's usually that easy. Like someone's just going to be like, "Oh no, someone has just stood outside the building, let me go."
Shida hata sio hiyo. Shida ni kuna kitu alifikiria State House kwanza, alafu ndiye akaona acha ende.
No, he
City
remembered
Hall.
what happened to the guy
So,
who tried
yeah,
jumping over
that's
the
what I wanted
fence.
to say.
And then he was like, that's not going to be my future. Let me try something different.
Because hii Kenya, Amina, unaweza ambiwa, unataka kuona rais? Kuja tukuonyeshe rais. Utaonyeshwa rais ni nani.
In fact, speaking about
Wewe.
rice, we should talk about State House. Kuna tenda ya makaa, unaweza get job.
Sasa ndio itakuwa hii ndio opportunity yangu ya kuingia State House sasa.
Mara ni band. Let me tell you. Oh, hii ndio opportunity yako sasa. Hivi ndio unaingia.
Ya kuingia sasa.
Alafu unakuwa MP.
Juma kazi natafutwa.
But why, the whole reason why that story disappointed me is because I am very pro-green energy. So I was like, of all, you set by example.
No.
The charity should begin at home.
Lakini
So
sasa-
the home of our nation is asking for charcoal,
Lakini
while the
mnataka-
rest of Kenya is being told, stop cutting down trees, because we only have, I think, 7.8% coverage now.
illegal.
It's supposed to be illegal.
Like
How?
some mnataka-
How
So
do
I
they
will ask
again?
the same thing you
Oh.
asked when they
Thank
were
you.
putting out this tender.
Thank you
Did
so
they
much.
not run this by
Thank
someone and say,
you.
do you think it's a wise
Hey.
idea to
For us
ask
to
in
put
the
out this
paper
one.
that we should ask for a charcoal tender? Hey, Mr. President, ask your kitchen staff to go green.
Kwa hivyo problem sio the tender process, ni form of energy.
Yes.
That's what we were.
Because you have to cut down trees
Oe,
to get
nilikuwa nafikiria
makaa.
mko na shida na tenda. Ningejua hata mtaka Uhuru atafute makaa.
Lakini kwa hizo tenda zinakuanga ngumu pia. We,
Ziko si makaa hapo.
unaambiwa
Mkebe moja
unataka we want
200,000.
people under the age of 25 with 12 years experience. You ask yourself, surely. Nilianza hii business when I was how young?
Now, this one, I think, hizi ndo zile vitu lazima zingefanyika tu. I think ningetaka ifanyike my home area. And here's why, because we definitely say tumerogwa. Now, of all the horror stories we've heard from the coast, those guys who sijui come the hill, they have
Right.
Yeah,
goat
you can
legs,
turn
I
into
don't
a
know what.
goat.
Yeah, that one.
Hizo zinakuanga ni
Nothing beats the story of crocodiles escaping from Mamba village.
Hey.
In Nyali.
Let me
Ukienda huko kuna
tell
on your
you
door.
have a chance to meet
Wewe
him,
unajua
because
hata-
I'll ask him, so what's with crocodile? What's with the reptiles in
And
general?
mosquitoes as well.
You
Ask
know,
about that.
Unajua hata
like,
hiyo
did
rumor
they
tu.
have to exist? What impact did they have in
Can
your
you- no,
creation story?
the Wochi who had a knock on the gate, opened the gate. Unaangalia mbele, you're not seeing anyone. You look down, there's a crocodile with its mouth
crocodile.
open.
Mombasa,
Let me
unajua
tell
Mombasa
kusikia mbio.
zinaweza
First of
kosa
all, that
kwa
employee
crocodile.
better increase my
But do you
salary.
understand how that's the last thing?
You expect
know,
to
right?
see.
Imagine.
Haya, nyinyi
Trauma
And the guy who was
days.
walking to the
Unajua
mosque
nyinyi
and then kanyagada crocodile.
Mahin.
How
Kanyanga-
now, brown
By the way,
cow?
you see stories
Hapana,
like this.
nyie
This is why
muoni
people should
ni
live in those
Mombasa.
flats. Because if you
yeah,
live in
yeah,
that
yeah.
house in Karen, of course it's going to eat you. It's just you alone. Like,
Haya.
you see the house in
Nyie muoni ni
Yes,
Mombasa.
we-
Chances za hiyo kutokuwa crocodile ni high pia. Unajua watu geuzwa
Inaweza kuwa ni
pia.
mtu.
Haya.
Oh, this is Mombasa.
Mombasa.
Croc anaweza
Haya.
So it's your ex. Amekuja ku-
Eh.
I
Wewe
say,
ni yangu bado hujalipa.
What do
Huyo
I say?
alikuwa anajaribu kuongea na mpenzi wa wenyewe, ndio huyo mamba sasa.
You
Kwa
guys
chini ya
remember
mamba.
Ati
post
chini ya mama.
election when guys were busy stealing bao, and
Yes.
that lady was like, kuna watu saizi hawanyi.
Like-
Na wakarudisha hizo mbao.
Walirudisha.
Walizirudisha.
So inaweza
They did
kuwa
not go
swali
to the loo
badilisho.
for 2 weeks.
But Amina, ushaisikia tu ruma ya kitu mbaya iko area. Unaona kama ati kuna nyoka hii area.
Yeah.
Hamjaiona kuna hiyo ruma tu.
Kuna rumor.
No,
Vile
I can't.
nika
You
state
know
of
how I'm
emergency.
petrified of
Yeah.
snakes. I will
Yeah.
not
Venye
leave
watu
my house.
wanahepa.
Hauwezi move kama hiyo area najua.
Like
Yeah.
Karura, and then people are saying, you know, it's
Ile
their
nyoka ya
natural
Karura.
habitat. I was like, you know, they can have their natural habitat. I don't have to mingle with
Eh.
them. I will go and
Yeah,
walk.
I've heard rumors of a
You
snake
can't
there.
move.
Yes, I will
I've not
go
come
walk
across it yet, but I've
at the
never gone back.
bypass.
Wewe
Yeah,
wacha.
no.
Mimi
Where
nilisikia
I will
Karura
meet
kuna
creatures
nyoka.
I know.
Hata hiyo
Kiambu
nilisikia.
Road yote situmiangi tangu hiyo siku.
It's
Wacha
true.
nyoka
And
ikaiuka
you
na
did
Karura
it,
yake.
did you?
Do you remember the day that they
Huduma
said
number.
Ah.
that there's someone who might have Ebola? I'm in Nairobi. Did you leave the house? Do you understand what I mean?
I didn't hear that story.
What do you
Lakini
mean you didn't hear
ile
that story? And
Somebody comes near you, like,
wait, Anita, you don't. The day
Where?
that they said that there was a lady that they suspect had Ebola, and
Oh,
I think it was in
anyway.
Eldoret actually.
Alafu-
You don't remember? So what they did, of course, kila mtu alifunga duka,
Mom,
unaenda
we'll
nyumbani.
meet after you've
Hata-
gone through
hata-
a
hata
full
watu wako Nairobi
medical
wana confirm
examination.
wako sawa. Sasa
Hey.
unajua salimi watu. Sahi.
Hey, you know me, I never leave the house.
You
So
do
now I
like-
just
you do
won't
the
leave the
boo-boo
house.
handshake.
Takuwa nafanya the trend na Skype. I'm like, guys, please, I have to keep myself safe.
And that's why I don't understand. You know, I bet that people were told, unaona pale ndani kuna crocodile. So people are running
Yeah,
away.
kwanza ingekuwa
And
Nairobi.
You know what
there's
amuses
some,
me?
for
There's
instance,
people who
Nairobi.
will actually want to go there and see it. I'm like, why? Why are you like this?
Why?
This is not the
People who should
Discovery
stay in
Channel.
hot-
why?
Kaa nyumbani,
me, I'm true
protect
to my
yourself.
blackness. Ati kuna nini? As you say,
Mimi
I have
mimi
katada
nilisha decide
kona.
kitu yoyote inapumua na si binadamu. Siwezi reason nayo hata ikwe paka kwa nyumba. No. Ati naweza lala iamke.
Kwa nini unaongelelea? Listen.
Uzi.
Any living thing that's not a human being.
You know, there's a python
Yeah,
that swallowed.
business.
There's a python in Australia yesterday, I think. It swallowed a whole crocodile. So there's this photographer who was there taking pictures, and
Yeah.
I'm just
Why?
like,
You see, those
Why?
are white people's problems.
It is
Us
swallowing
as
a
mirrors,
crocodile.
We
How-
look.
How many
we
times
wonder.
have you seen during the ending of a show on Discovery Channel about animals? It's Animal Planet, sorry. Have you seen it was a black person who was taking that footage?
Never.
Almost never.
We are true to our blackness.
Well,
Our
We are.
blackness
Yeah,
is
yeah,
about
I know.
Like in a-
flight or fright.
Like-
It is fright.
you know another thing about black people? We never keep time. The show
Oh.
ended 5 minutes ago.
Oh,
Oh.
Yeah, Cindy. And
Sorry,
I've been told
sorry,
Butita is called
sorry,
Eddie. Did you hear Anita call him Eddie?
Yeah,
Hey,
sorry,
Ed.
Eddie.
Eddie. Ed.
Eddie, are you
Auntie
okay?
Ed.
Wow.
Eddie, are you
Eddie.
okay?
You know
Are
the-
you
Ed,
okay?
Ed, and
Black
Eddie.
people.
Ooh. You know, that's how you know they know each other personally, because they call
Yeah,
each other names with
Eddie.
joke now. Anyway,
But
Butita,
his name
Ed,
is
Ed, and Eddie, and
Butita,
whoever
what
you
do
are.
names you
No,
don't know.
His Butita,
Thanks
his
for
Eddie
coming
to
through.
you.
No,
Anita,
girl.
Anita, do your
Bye.
thing. Just
You
keep
go.
on, keep on.
What?
Do your thing.
Anyway,
Butita.
Vera Siddiqa is coming up at 10 p.m. It doesn't
Vera
matter
Siddiqa.
if you're black or no.
Wow.
It's Vera Butita
Doesn't matter.
Wow.
after turning the skin.
Tell her, say
Oh.
hi.
Anyway, whoever atakuja tu, kuna mmoja